Okay. Hi everyone. Thanks very much for joining the stream already. Um, so yeah, or should we say, Здравствуйте, comrades. Let's begin today's stream. So today we will continue our study of mathematical Russian, or you can call it scientific Russian in general, because the goal for this particular live stream is very specific. Okay, we're not gonna learn travel phrases, and we're not gonna, regrettably, read any Pushkin or Dostoevsky. We're just going to get ourselves equipped with the basic vocabularies and grammar necessary to read Russian scientific and pedagogical literature. So, the motivation for doing so, and also the historical background, was introduced yesterday. So I would not repeat on that. So you can go to the first episode to see why I consider Russian to be I would say, moderately useful foreign language to learn if your first language isn't Russian, and you're interested in the classic Russian and Soviet pedagogy, in particular of mathematics, because I still think there's a lot of things we can learn from that particular tradition. And needless to say, the Russian and Soviet contribution to pure and applied mathematics, and in particular applied mathematics in particular, I think is so great that the originals are worth reading, even though the foundational texts are mostly translated to English nowadays. But who knows? There might be a future textbook that's written in Russian, and translating textbook may take years. And also many of the more applied works, and not necessarily foundation one, but more specific applications, and to this day remain untranslated. So I think it's a pretty cool experience, and it should be worthwhile. All right, so that being said, let's just get started. So yesterday we were talking about the basic alphabet, right? So we're just talking about the alphabet. We encountered 5 vowels. Just a quick recap, okay? We seen a, or, u, e, and we practiced the pronunciation, and also the consonant be, pe, m. Okay, and a few vocabularies, in particular po. Po is even though the spelling is very easy, the usage is not always trivial. Okay, so we've seen some examples. Of course, at this stage, perhaps full sentence is a little bit advanced, but don't worry, because it just want to give a little bit of a context and further motivation to study this stuff. Okay, and as we shall see, Russian is grammatically very complex, and I think one of the biggest roadblock, aside from pronunciation for beginners, is the declension system, conjugation system. So in particular, yesterday we saw the po is followed by the so-called dative case. I'll explain that in the upcoming streams, and we'll see all the cases. So there are 6 cases in Russian, in most of the for most of the word, I believe. There's 6 cases in Russian, and it can be overwhelming, but don't worry, this is still manageable. And okay, so let's just get started with today's material. We're going to see some new alphabet letters. Okay, exciting stuff. Okay, so then we have section 1.4. Let's get started. We have 1.4. Well, I'll be mostly write on the notepad myself, and occasionally I'll use Google Translate and a wiki dictionary. So the consonants, the 3 consonants we're going to look at in this particular section is V. Looks like an English B, so which can be confusing, but you get used to this pretty quickly. V. And just one, it's actually quite kind of funny that this is actually a word. In Russian, a single letter can be a word. It means in. So this is a preposition. V on its own is a preposition, means in. And the second consonant is F. F, so it literally reads like English F. So this is F, and the lowercase letter looks like this. So it's like an infinity sign with a vertical dash. Okay, chat, please let me know if I'm doing this correctly. So this is a lowercase f. This is a big case F. Looks like a big phi, right? Like in mathematical statistics, we write the cumulative distribution function of the normal distribution. Typically, we use big phi. Right? I believe this is because historically the Cyrillic alphabet was developed by the Greeks, something like that. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I suppose that's the reason. And the next consonant is N. Once again, N looks like a big H. This gets a little bit confusing for a beginner, but once again, with enough practice, you pick it up very, very quickly. Don't worry. So don't worry about, oh, I'm gonna mix up things. Yeah, just read a few syllables, and you'll get used to it. All right. So yeah, the first one, it kind of, as I said, it reads like the V in English. So a word for that would be, English word for that would be voice, and it pronounced like V in a voice. I write, actually, you know what? Tab, I'll put the Wikipedia, sorry, not the Wikipedia, but the writing table that we saw yesterday, Russian alphabet writing. This side, because I haven't written this stuff for a few years, so I want to make sure I do things correctly. All right, so this is the alphabet. Where is F? Yeah, it's here. It's like this. Okay, I'll do it this way. I'll do it this way. Okay, so okay, so perhaps this is a little bit odd. Sorry, guys. Let me just put it there. So like this. Yeah. Okay. So this is voice. The V in the word voice, pronounced like the same. The second one, to give an example of F, let's just use far. Okay. This shouldn't be too difficult for English speaker. Even though they look a little bit odd, pronunciation is typically not a problem. at least not for me, because you already have these sounds in English, and N would be resemble something like a something like how do you say? Let's use the word noun. Okay, noun start with N. Okay, so let's do a few practice. Combine the consonants with vowels. So this is, by the way, what's the written version? Well, actually, you know what? Why am I should be using, yeah, this is a written version of F, so let's use the green color. And let's print those right next to it. Oops. So yeah, the print version like this. The cursive version looks like this. Little the little v is tall. Remember, in print it looks very short, but in 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 handwriting it is tall. Okay, and the print version of F looks like this. Good. Try writing the alphabet on the tablet and send you. No, no, don't worry. Like, um, I understand like the YouTube UI is very limited, but you guys are welcome to join my Discord and you can send a picture there. I should say this every time I start the stream. So this is N. Handwriting is pretty cool in my opinion because you don't always write H this way in English. Because in English the cursive H looks like this. It's like this, English cursive H. So it's different from the Russian N. Okay, let's do some voice practice. So, opinion on Olympiad and Putnam. Okay, chat. I'll answer this question. I'll do the voice practice in one go. I'll set chat aside. Olympiad and Putnam. I mean, they can be fun. Even though I'm never so interested in them. Like it's just not my thing. Even I do. That being said, I do agree that there are problems that are interesting in there, but for me, they don't seem to attract me that much because I just like perhaps I find the problems they're interesting puzzles, but I don't find them to be super relevant. Okay, I mean perhaps it's not fair for Putnam, but in high school I just find the problems rather contrived. They're rather contrived, and okay, I figured, oh, this is a fun problem. This is a challenging problem. If I can solve it, I feel smart for like 5 minutes, and then I move on. What's the point in that? And let's be honest, I'm never super into the competitive side of the mathematical scene. I'm more interested in just interested in the depth, okay, of the theory and the applications and how math interact with other aspect of human society, and not so much with the competitive side. It's just not my thing. Okay, and I don't deny there are some problems that are interesting. Okay, so you're unlikely to see Olympiad or competition stuff, competitive stuff, MIT integration B, that sort of thing on the channel. And there's aspects of mathematics that are completely left out in those areas, which I personally find hugely interesting. Things like modeling, mathematical modeling, and numerical mathematics. That sort of thing. It seems like they don't get featured in the exams in these kind of exams. So I figured, you know what, it's probably not worth my time. Okay, that's it. Okay, so let's continue. But once again, if you're interested, don't take my words as discouragement. Okay, and I think you can. There's a lot of opportunity beyond just questions. So there's usually a very nice circle of people interested in mathematics. Of course, if you're, let's say, if you do the competition, your chances are you're interested in mathematics in general, right? It's a great circle to hang out with people, even if you do share some of my opinion. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, this is not to poo-poo on mathematical competition. Okay, I think as I was saying, I wish perhaps in retrospect I should have paid more attention to this because this way I get to make more friends. You know, people interested in mathematics are a bit of a rarity in society. Let's just call it that way, as a whole, right? So there's no need to isolate ourselves. Yeah, it's fairly new. Yeah, yeah. They do have, yes. I think nowadays it's becoming more common, which I think is a good thing. Yeah, perhaps we'll take a look at those in future. So there you go. Consonants. Consonants. Let's practice the pronunciation. Va, vo, vu, vu, and ve. In different order. Vo, vu, va, ve, va. Vu, ve, va, vo. Um, so next up, fa, fo, fu, fe. All right. Fo, fe, fu, fe, fa. Fu, fe, fa, fo. All right. And na, by the way, that's also a word, a preposition, na. Because nowadays, I mean, right now we're still looking at very short, we're just looking at syllables, right? So sometimes syllables happen to be a word. Na means on. It's like English on. Na, no. No is also a word. It's like but. No. No is like is like a is a very spoken word. So nu is like well, that kind of thing. Nu, ne. Different order. No, nu, ne, na. Nu, ne, na, no. All right. Okay. Exercise 4. Is that how you say it? Упражнение 4. Try to use Russian as much as possible. Exercise 4, still reading exercise. Va, fa. So we're now mixing the consonants. Fa, va, fa, na. This is the first part. Часть 1. Va, fa, na. Vo, fo, no. No. Okay? And then vu, fu, no. No. Ve, fe, ne. Ne. Um, second part, часть 2. Va, na, va, na, yes. Vo, na, fa, va. I wonder if there's some sort of reasoning that the consonants are grouped in this way. Um, if so, chat, let me know. But anyway, na, ne, oh, sorry, fa, ne, na, fa, na, va. Okay, so you get used to it fairly quickly. Fu, na, vo, vu. Okay, although it's kind of funny that you quickly start to mix things with English. So when I wasn't at an airport, I believe I was at an airport one day and I saw the acronym, the initials or like the first few letters for the airport in in what's the capital of Greece? What's Athens, right? Athens. Um, uh, yeah, I just started. So Athens, the the initials for Athens would be ATH, and in my brain it was just like ATN. So you sometimes you mix things up, which is interesting experience. Oh, by the way, we'll see this letter in a bit. You know, this is E in Russian. We saw that yesterday. This is E in Russian, and you know the Korean car manufacturer Kia. Kia used to write their logo like this. Is Kia like this? Sometimes somehow they don't put a in there, but this is their old logo, Kia. And then they switched to this. And every time I see this, I in my brain it just reads like key. The old. Let me just show you guys the Kia logo here. All right, so the Kia logo. You see here, it's a perfect example. This is the old logo, and this is the new one. The new one just it reads like key in Russian. So anyway, just kind of interesting. A nice link of opinion on mathematician research competitions mostly negative. Well, I think it's fair to say that such competitions historically did produce great mathematicians, especially if you guys are interested in the history of mathematics. In the University of in Cambridge University in the UK, historically there is a very competitive, and also I still believe it exists, called triples, the Cambridge triples. So many of the famous mathematicians in the late 19th century and the early 20th century were winners of the Cambridge triple system, including people like G.H. Hardy. Cambridge triple is very prestigious, okay, and nowadays it's like a program, not an exam. But before the Cambridge triple, mathematical triple is like is an exam. Now it's a course, but before it was an exam. In the classical 19th century form, the triples was a distinctly written exam. It's pretty much like the Putnam nowadays. It's very competitive, and a lot of British mathematicians. You see, for example, um, uh, they they participated in exam, they made questions, and it's a powerful way to select mathematician. But once again, as all exams, they emphasize certain aspect and neglect certain other aspect. Right? So that's why we should not romanticize such activity. I mean, they have good things, and there are also things that they ignore. Right? So I think Hardy later, Hardy, even though he was a winner, he later decided to phase out the triple system because it makes the British mathematician, it made British mathematics in general lagging behind European ones. So Europeans, like in the French and the Germans, they didn't have a similar system. Instead, they prioritized the depth, right, and critical examination of the foundation. Right? People like Weierstrass, Riemann, Cauchy, you know what they did, right? So in terms of the level of depth, the rigor, and whatnot, um, sometimes this sort of activity cannot be reasonably achieved within a short time frame because an exam, by its own definition, it has a time frame and it emphasizes trickery. So, of course, tricks are important, and many theories started from tricks. Right? Many theories started from tricks. Many systematic started from tricks. So these are all indispensable tools. I'm not saying this is unimportant. It's just like we shouldn't like romanticize the exams as the ultimate evaluator of one's mathematical capability. This I'm trying to get to. Okay, if you're interested in this, great. Just be mindful that it does not represent all of mathematics and all of mathematical capability. All right, so that's what I'm going to say about competitions, exams, that kind of thing. All right, so there we go. I think we can move on with the rest. So here, read Russian words. Now this is fun. We're going to learn some vocabulary, not just letters. Exercise 5. Упражнение 5. Exercise 5. Read Russian words. Von? Is that a word? Here it says the capital V. Von. Oh, what's that? Phone? Is it like phone in English? I can't remember. But on is definitely a word. This is he in Russian. This is he in Russian. On. Yesterday we saw an example. He was swimming along the lake. Sorry, he was swimming along the river. Он плыл по реке. Hi JC, joining a great moment. Haven't heard of this. Kind of reminds me of Harvard Math 55. Yes, Math 55. A while ago, I was showcasing the Math 55 textbook they use in the 60s and the 70s, called Advanced Calculus by Loomis and Sternberg. Yeah. So, phone is like background. And hi Levy. So, okay. So we'll take a look at that. I did not message continue Russian with a star. Okay, great. Спасибо. I'm doing great. Thank you very much. On is he. Oh, actually, there's an explanation down there. My bad. Explanation down there. So, let me just do that. So, von is there over there. It says there over there, and phone is background. Yes. Okay. So my vocabulary is very limited, but that's a good thing. We can learn. On is he and it. Why is also it? Because in Russian, the nouns have genders. There's a system. I mean, it's part of the declension system. So noun has gender. So sometimes it's just he doesn't always mean a human. Okay, so for example, just to give an example, in Russian, the house, dom. Dom is masculine. It ends with a consonant, and that's a masculine word, dom. So if you use a pronoun to refer to a house, you use on. But of course, when you translate it to English, it means it's it, right? So there's that on. And ano. Ano is actually it. So in Russian, certain words are gender neutral. So in Russian, there's three genders: masculine, feminine, and neutral. And ano is for is for neutral nouns. This we'll never learn any Russian at all. Von is actually not used as a word by itself. Von dam, over there, basho von. Basho von, get out. Actually, I heard the phrase basho von in a song by Молча Dama. It's called Я не коммунист. I'm not a communist. In the beginning, there's a conversation. It says, it goes something like this. А я был коммунистом, и коммунистом остался. Из партии не выходил. And somebody replied and say, oh, ты никакой не коммунист. Партия всегда... it's like, party is always against drinking, but you are alcoholic. I forgot how to say it. And the original speaker got very upset and said, "Pashol won't get out," something like that. No, I'm not from Russia. I'm from I was born in China, but now I live in Canada. Okay, so in my daily life, I mostly speak English. With family members, I speak Chinese. I picked up some Russian using Duolingo during COVID. So that's like my linguistic and ethnic background. Okay, so yeah, that's the okay. So let's continue. Спасибо, Tep. You always give great examples. Von, dam, and Bashol von. It's okay. Yeah, it's good. It's always important to learn words with context. Otherwise, they just don't mean anything. It's like when you learn mathematics, right? If you just memorize the definition, you don't understand anything. Right? We have to see it in actual examples, questions, and proofs. So anyway, continue. Na. Na is the preposition on and by. Banan. So we're finally seeing some multi-syllabus word. Banan. Banan is banana. 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 I believe, fun fact, I believe like in the Soviet Union during Stalin's time, a banana is some kind of a luxury because the Soviet Union is very cold and I mean for the most part of the country, I guess perhaps with exception in like places in Georgia, southern Ukraine, those sort of places. But overall, banana was rare. So, fun fact. And vana is a bath. Is bath. Okay. All right. So this is some exercises about words. Okay. I hope we'll see more words over the course of our study. I know 你好 and 谢谢 is like hello and thank you. Здравствуйте and спасибо in Russian. Okay, so let's do the next section. The next section will have just two consonants, and once again, the pronunciation is very easy. The pronunciation is very easy, and it's Very similar to English, although with some subtle differences, I believe. Consonant de and te. So this is interesting. So de looks like this. So looks like a delta. Looks like a delta, and this is a printed version of de. So little de, well, is just a smaller version of it. Although in print you see de sometimes written in the shape of a partial derivative. This is de. Okay. In some printed version, you see de like this, which I find super interesting because I never seen because before I learned Russian, I just thought, okay, this is a made up symbol in math. But then I started learning Russian. I thought, oh wow, is this actually a letter? That's so cool. And the written version is perhaps much closer to English, so there is written this way. There, okay? Capital D. And perhaps a little bit annoying is that little de, lowercase de, looks like English G. So that's de in Russian. Once again, if you've seen this stuff enough, you'll get used to it. Okay, this is de, and te. Te is it's just like T in English. Big T, little t. Okay, there's no such thing as this in Russian. Okay, so anyway, the printed version is super cool. The written version, the handwritten version is super cool. So te looks like this. Okay, the printed version of te looks like this, and the little te looks like English M. So even though the sound isn't difficult, right? De and te, the written version takes some getting used to. Okay. So in the text it actually says, in the Russian language, the letter de symbolizes a sound which is quite different from its English analog d in date. Okay, I didn't know what I was talking about apparently. To pronounce the Russian de correctly, put the tip of the tongue to the lower teeth and raise the central part of the tongue to the dental ridge. Okay, de. The sound is pronounced when the central part of the tongue touches the dental ridge. Articulate the sound without any tension. The stream of the exhaled air should be very weak. Okay, so let's pronounce some syllables. Here we go. You get I think I'm not very used to writing the in the printed version. I apologize. I'll just use the look like a little G thing. Okay, this is da. Da in Russian means yes. Do is also a preposition, I believe. It's like until. Do. Du. De. Okay. These are da, do, du, de. Do, du, de, da. Du, de, da, do. What's so great about learning Russian alphabet is that once you master the pronunciation of the alphabet, there's actually many words you can already read. Okay, so this is the letter de. Okay, and now te. Let's practice some syllables. So this is ta, I believe. This is ta, 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 to, tu, te. Okay, great. Essentially what I learned in Chinese, I actually want to learn Chinese, but it's hard. And yeah, Chinese is very difficult. Although there are certain aspects of Chinese that's actually pretty easy. The grammar stuff is so much easier than, say, well, Russian. There's literally so little grammar in Chinese. It's the phonetics system, the tone system, and the writing system is difficult. There's many, I would say, Chinese have very few syllables. Most of the words in Chinese are two syllables. Okay, so to, tu, te, ta. Tu, te, ta, to. All right. So there's that. Okay, so time to do exercises. Exercises 8. Упражнение 8. Часть 1. Part 1. Да, та. То, то. Ду, ту. Те, те. Часть 2. Part 2. Да, ту. Да, му. Да, бу. Да, ма. Часть 3. Да, да, ма. Да, ма. Do. It's like at home, huh? No, it's Doma. Doma is at home. It's like at home. Dama is it's interesting because if you read this as a single word, Doma means at home. Dama means houses, plural. Duma. Duma is like the Russian version of a Congress, something like that. Duma. State Duma. Du nu. Du на. Часть 4. Part 4. Та, та, ма. Та, ну. Та, пу. Ta, po. Remember this little N looking thing? This is actually P, P in Russian. Confusing, huh? Ta, bu. All right. Часть 5. Part 5. То, та, то, му, то, по, ту, да. To da, I think this is a word too. It's like over there, or going over there. To da. Okay. To ne. To po. To va. Is that like a region in Russia? Tuva. And tu ta. All right. So that's exercise 8. Okay. So now we have more words. Excellent. Now we have more words. This is amazing. So vocabulary. So first we're going to read these words and then we're going to do the meanings and whatnot. Yeah, there's tuva. So exercise 9. Exercise 9. Read the Russian letters. So actually these are words, I believe. Some of them are. And now you get things like consonants connected together, which in my opinion can be difficult. So the first word is dva. Okay, this is a cursive version, but that's actually, you know what, let's do the printed version so people don't get confused. Or at least put the letters separately. Dva. 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 This means two. Dvo. I don't know if that's a word. Dvo. Dvu. Is it like a declined version of dva, perhaps? Dvu. Dvu. And vna. Vna. Is it, do you soften it actually, chat? Is it fna or vna? Is it vna or fna? I know sometimes you soften the v. But I think before n it is not softened. It's not softened. It's not softened to f. It's like still v. It's the hard sound. It's like in Russian the word attention is vнимание, so it's like v. Guys, let me know. Vna, vno. Vnu. Vnu. Tna. Tna. Okay, pretty sure that's not a word. Just syllables. Tna, tno. Tno. Tnu. Okay. Exercise 9. Exercise 10. Read the Russian syllables. Pay attention to the correct pronunciation of the letters a and o in different positions. Yeah, this is difficult. Could you give a context where f is softened? I can't think of one. Okay, don't worry. I'll just ignore that because let's follow the progress of the textbook. I then will translate there, I guess. So it's like tuda, right? Tuda I would translate like there, I guess. Here's the progression of proximity. Bashli, let's go. Bashli, sюда is here. Tuda is there. Вон туда is over there. Okay, great. Excellent. Yeah, actually, there's one thing that's very tricky about Russian is the verbal aspect and also words of motion. Verbs of motion. Глаголы движения, I believe. Yeah, it's very difficult. There's so many different ways to say go in Russian. So we'll have to get used to that. I don't know, like for mathematical Russian, this is covered, but it doesn't matter. I think we'll get there. It's such an important part of the language. It's like the way of transport matters, right? The way of transport matter, and if is it a round trip? Like do you like, yeah, and many things to consider when you say go in Russian. One does not simply say go in Russian. Okay. Anyway, so exercise 10. Exercise 10. So now we're seeing more words. Exciting. Finally, something that can make sense. Read the Russian syllables. Pay attention to the correct pronunciation of the letter a and o in different positions. So, okay. Here we have the first group. So a is stressed, where a is stressed, okay? So you have da, which means yes, vada, which means water, vada. Do they still the word teaser? I've never seen that in English. Sister. This is perhaps archaic. I've never seen this in real life. And I don't know the word. Actually, English is not my first language either. So, data. Data is like data. 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 So I'm going to put the stress mark here. Well, for da, because there's only one syllable, you don't need stress. It's automatically stressed by default. Vada. So a is stressed. So this is very interesting because o occupies an unstressed position. So it's vada, not voda. All right. So it's vada. So you can see if you mispronounce the stress, it will sound super weird. So the correct pronunciation of this word is, I think it's correct, is vada. And if you pronounce it, the stress wrong, it will be voda, which is completely different. Right. Data is date. Oh, right, sorry. Data is date. Is date. Actually, I don't know if there's actually, yeah, actually my goodness, I always forgot. The meanings are actually given down here in the text. So, da is yes. Yes, yes, yes. Data is date. You're completely right. Thank you, Chad. The first a in data is stressed. Hi, Andrei. Спасибо. Спасибо for joining the stream. I don't know how to say that in Russian. Okay, I should practice that. Вода. Вода is water. Вода is water, and туда is in that direction. Is туда. In that direction. That direction. Там is there. Там is there. Dan, Dan, Dan for masculine. Dan for masculine. Dana for feminine. And dano for neutral. For neutral. So these are all given. Perhaps this is important, right? In mathematics, you often say it's okay, given certain conditions, such and such and such, then such and such and such, right? This is all mathematics is written, given. So this is given. So perhaps this is super important for our purpose. All right. So so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's the first group. R is stressed. Actually, I didn't put all the stretch marks. Let me fix that. Tуда. Dam. Dan. Dana. Is stressed. Dano. Or is stressed. Okay? And the second group where or is stressed. Second group, on. On is he. Bought. Bought is under, I believe. Is under, yes. Bought is under. Actually, let's do bought later, but first, door. Door is to and up to. To and up to. Okay, we're not gonna be too bothered with examples in this part of the exercise. I'm sorry, because there are many words, and right now the key is still phonetics. On, door. Because in my opinion, perhaps the first thing you should, I've learned Chinese and English, so perhaps I'm qualified to talk about experience, like tips and tricks of learning foreign languages. I think the most important part is to get the phonetics right. Because I think every language is beautiful when you say it correctly. When you pronounce the language in its most standard form, they all sound beautiful. So pronouncing things correctly helps you appreciate the language, and it keeps you going. It's just in my opinion. Okay. Okay. Board is under. Dom is house. Is house. And tom is volume. Tom is volume. Actually, I have a one volume of a textbook on complex analysis from Russia. It's complex analysis, or the theory of analytic function by Markushevich, and it's a 3-volume text. I only have volume 1. A Russian friend of mine brought it from Georgia to me. It's published in Soviet time, so extremely valuable. It's extremely valuable. So, I only have the first volume on, so on the cover it says Tom 1, Tom Ajin. Long ago, Davno. Davno. Okay, I try not to print Dav. No. Davno. So long ago. Long ago. All right. So let's continue with the next group. Next group is R but unstressed. Actually, oh, here is actually the pronunciation. This is pronunciation. This is pronunciation, not letters. These are pronunciations. Okay, so here we're talking about unstressed R. Unstressed R. So you have banan. Okay, so I think I messed up things here. So according to this grouping, I should have on port. You're right, it should be port, not port. Once again, it's very delicate way. It's a very delicate thing. So there at the end, I remember there's a rule that it should be softened. It should be softened like port. It should be like port. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. So there at the end should be softened like that. Okay. So in the second group we should have on port. Nor is not here. My bad. Nor is but. Okay. Nor is but. Okay. So I think I messed up a few things here. The first group in the textbook is da, vada. Hang on. Let me change things to the correct order. Okay, I'm sorry. So in the first group we have da, vada, and data, dam, to da, mostly correct, but still dam, to da, and finally done. Okay, so here first group looks okay. Second group, on, o is stressed, do. Actually, let's do board the second, no is the third, and dom, house, door, and dom. Okay, so that's the second group. The third group with unstressed R. You got banan. Banan is interesting because you have an R that's stressed and other one unstressed. The stress is on the second syllable. Banan, banan. Banan. Second R is stressed, which means banana. Banana. And Anna. Anna is she. Anna is she. Davno, we just seen that. Davno, because O is stressed, so I is unstressed. Here, the unstressed R refers to A. It reads Anna, not Ona. Okay, Anna. And the first syllable in the banan is unstressed. Davno, unstressed A. O is stressed. Davno. Long ago. Davno. Dana. Dana, we've seen that here. Dana. Dana. So let's put it here. Dana. Dana. So the first R in Dana is unstressed. We've seen that, and it's called given, the feminine version. All right. So what else? Vada. Vada or is unstressed, so it's unstressed R sound. It's unstressed R sound. So that's another example. Water and Patom. Patom is like Zen. Patom. Okay, this looks super confusing to English writers. Okay, this Patom is like p. Okay, p t. It it writes like that. So Patom. Perhaps I should minimize that confusion and just say Patom. This is perhaps a little bit easier. But I think eventually we should be able to get used to both. Perhaps the printed version is more important because after all we're reading papers and books. You're unlikely to see actual Russian handwriting. And I mean just rare occurrence, right? So get used to the printed version first. Потом, so the second O is stressed. Right? So the second O is stressed and the first O sounds like ah. Потом. Потом is afterwards. Very important. So this is like if you're describing an algorithm or steps in a proof. I believe these are very common words. All right. So more unstressed are. More unstressed are. So you get data. Data. Data was seen earlier. So yeah. Anyway, different emphasis. Okay. So in the first group we emphasize the stressed R. Data. The second R is unstressed. Okay. We don't need to explain the meaning anymore. This is date. So it kind of is easy to mess up. Okay. It's not data. It's it's date. Okay. It's like not the date with your girlfriend or boyfriend. This is like the date. Like today's date is July the 22nd, 29th. That kind of date. All right. So that's data and eta. Eta. This is this in Russian. Eta. E is stressed, so O sounds like A. You see, the rule is actually very consistent, which I like as a mathematician. Dama, sorry, Doma. Doma is at home. Doma. So the second R is unstressed sound. Doma, at home. Ya Doma, I am home. For some reason, there is no like a B word. There's no B in Russian. It's like you don't say I am home. You say I home literally. Ya Doma, I'm home. Okay, something to get used to. And all right, so этот is also this. So the difference between eta and этот will become more clear later. Okay, right now we're still working on phonetics. Этот, atom, atom, atom. Of course, is atom. Atom, atom. So the or atom. So you see the or is sounds like unstressed R. Okay, let's keep going. Keep going. Поэтому. Поэтому is therefore. Probably, yeah, you can probably tell this is highly useful for proofs. Поэтому. Поэтому. Therefore. Поэтому. So, поэтому. So, the unstressed all sound like ah. Поэтому. So here, let me just put the meanings there. Это is this. Doma is at home. Eta is also this, but different from eta. And atom is just atom. Поэтому is therefore. I forgot how to say because, but we'll see that later. Bought is sweat, but bought is under, so the pronunciation make a difference. Oh, okay. So it's bought, literally the. Literally the. Sorry. Good to know. All right. Yeah, and actually most languages have genders, I believe. Most Indo-European languages, at least, have genders in their nouns. All right. So more words. Excellent. More words. I like this a lot. So exercise 10. Exercise 10. Exercise 11. Exercise 11 is 11. 11. That's 11. Because is потому что. Потому что. Because is потому что. Not поэтому. Поэтому is therefore. Потому что is actually two words. Потому что. You know what? I'll put it on the side because I couldn't remember. Потому что. Okay. Anyway, exercise 11. Read the words. Also because can be dakak. Also, yes, I've seen that. Dakak. Also two words. Okay. Dakak. Like this. Right? Because dak is like, how do you translate dak? But gak is like as. Gak, how, or something like that. But together they mean because. Anyway, exercise 11, read the Russian word. We've seen them, but now let's just practice. Right? Repeat. Повторение мать учения. Means repetition is the mother of learning, literally. It's like practice makes perfect in Russian. So, dan, dana, dano. Okay, so I will not write the stress marks in these words. Okay, I'm just going to read them because when you actually write Russian letters, your Russian words, you don't put stress. Okay, so you don't want to learn where to put the stress and then you get used to that and then later you have to unlearn it. Let's just read. Okay, dan, dana, second, dana, dano, dano, nada, nada. It's like need, nada. Or you must do something, nada, not, data. See that? Tуда, tуда. Hold on a second. What is this? Etap. Guys, what's this? What's etap? Is that a word? It's probably is a word. Exercise 11 is read the Russian words. This is apparently is a word. Because I didn't know this, so I'm gonna put the stress mark here. Etap. 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 Okay. What's that? We'll look at that. And tam. 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 I think you just read it like de. Tam. A part is stage. Is stage. Awesome. Thank you. A part is stage. Oh, actually, there's meaning downstairs. I mean, I always forgot. Like the textbook asked me to read the words first, and you're gonna put the meanings later. Okay. Okay, sure. Okay, sure. So first, let's just read. Okay. My goodness, I always think about the meaning, and it get confusing. Now, let's just read phonetics first, as I was saying. Edat, eta, eta, eta. End with an a. Eta, 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 or. Dort, ta, tor, bovet. It sounds like it says bovet. Okay, we'll look at the meaning later. Not to distract from the pronunciation. Bovet. Didn't know this word. Bovet. Поэтому, already seen that. I'll catch up with Chad later. Поэтому. Потому. Yeah. Потому. Is потому on its own a word as well? Not just потому что. Потому что is because. Nam. Вам. These are the dative case for we and you, plural. Von. Вот. Like here. Вот. Одно. Одно is like one. It's like a one object, one neutral object. Одно. Одна. Одна is also one, but for feminine. Одна. Давно. Long ago, we've seen that. Давно. Давно не видеть. Long time no see. Давно. Фото. Photo. Фото. Photon. Photon is like photon in physics. Photon. Попутно. Попутно. I have no idea what that is. Попутно. Попутно. No idea what that is. EVM. Actually, that's all caps. Is that an acronym? EVM. EVM. What with a double V. What with double V. No, double V. And the next word is автомат. Автомат. And the next word is mathematical. Actually, we've seen a mathematical word. Yay. Is monotona. Monotone. Monotona. How do you say monotone convergence theorem in Lebesgue integration? Monotona. It's in chapter 3. We're still suffering in chapter 2 in measure theory. Chapter 2, measure is harder than chapter 3 integration. Okay, so hang in there. So these are the words, a lot of words. Okay, so explain their meaning. So there is this tip here. It says at the end of the word, the letter te is pronounced te. So I guess I was right, huh? There's this rule that said in the text that at the end of the word, te is softened to te. All right. So, okay. The chat is scrolling like crazy. So, perhaps I made a lot of mistake. Tam is I will give, and tam is there. To be honest, I think usually soften consonant is sort of rare. Oh wow. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I mean, you're a native speaker. I'll learn from you. Tam is I'll give. Tam is there. To be honest, I don't think usually we soften consonant. It's kind of rare. I guess the distinction between потому что and потому is the same between because of and because. Okay. Yeah, but computer is EVM is электронного вычисли, вычислительное, вычислительное, вычисл, вычислительное, вычислительное, or actually I'm struggling with this word, машина, which is archaic name of a computer. So this book was published in 2004. So a little bit old, huh? Because computer technologies evolve so quickly. We, which, which, okay, so I will try to learn this word. Okay, I'll try to learn this word because this is kind of awesome. Not gonna lie. Translate. Sorry, translate. Google Translate. So help me out here, Google Translate. Okay. How do you read this word?
Вычислительное.
Вычислительное. Вычислительное. Okay. EVM is электронного. Электронного. Электрона. Вычислительная машина. Computational. Oh, by the way, applied mathematics is computational. I mean, okay, is вычислительная математика. There is a famous institute in Russia. Is a Russian is some, I forgot the name of it, but let me just look it up. There's a specific institute in Russia for applied mathematics. Russian Institute Applied Mathematics. It's named after a person. Yes, this one. This one I was thinking about. Kurdish Institute of, this is applied mathematician of applied mathematics, and many famous mathematicians worked in like Soviet space program and nuclear technologies and whatever. Here, very famous and prestigious institution. So the name of this is, my goodness, yeah, this is applied mathematics, right? Прикладная математика. Прикладная математика. Right? That's applied mathematics. But of course, вычислительная математика is also typically considered a subdomain of applied mathematics, right? Computational stuff. And I was just talking about Russian numerical analysis, Russian computational mathematics. It felt to me that it is often more rigorous than the Western counterparts. So if you read a Russian text on numerical analysis or computational mathematics, it's literally like functional analysis. It's almost kind of indistinguishable. It's like applied functional analysis to me, which is awesome. You rarely see that kind of rigor in Western numerical analysis text, but there are Western equivalents. There are Western equivalents, but in Russian that seems to be the norm. I don't know if this has something to do with the tradition, because let's be honest, numerical analysis saw a great surge in the 20th century thanks to computer technology, and because of closely numerical analysis was connected to space and defense programs. I think the Western numerical analysis and the Russian numerical analysis communities, they worked largely independently. Right? So there's this distinct flavor of how Russian did the computational mathematics, and of course after the Iron Curtain fell, there seems to be a convergence of the two sides. Okay, at least as far as the scientific progress is concerned. So very interesting. If you guys wanted to have a taste of how Russian numerical analysis look like, I strongly recommend this book. It's a very short book, actually. It's called A Brief Introduction to Numerical Analysis by Derdeshnikov. Teredishnikov, Numerical Analysis. Go check this book out. I don't know, perhaps you guys can recommend. Um, this is my limited exposure to Russian style numerical analysis. All right, so this one is actually completely in English. It is written in English. It's called A Brief Introduction to Numerical Analysis, and in particular, it is an introduction to numerical linear algebra. So it's lecture. Yeah, you can't see the content here, but lecture one starts from metric spaces, just like a functional analysis textbook. If you open, say, Kolmogorov-Fomin, which is a functional analysis text, first chapter, first chapter, that's a set series, but after preparation, first chapter, metric spaces. How awesome is that? Right? And so yeah, unfortunately you can't see the content here. It's just lecture numbers, but this is a text on numerical linear algebra. And this guy, Evgeny Derdishnikov, is a world-renowned expert. So Derdishnikov, citation over 10,000, and I believe he was a student of Andrei Tikhonov, I believe. So, oh, actually no, he was a student of Valentin Voivodin, how you pronounce the name, and Alexei Sveshnikov. And Alexei Sveshnikov is a student of Tikhonov. Tikhonov. So Tikhonov was the founder of modern inverse problems, inverse theory, inverse problems, and among other things. I have a book on PDE, a partial differential equation, written by Tikhonov and Samarsky. So this week, actually, this Saturday, we'll have a PDE stream, and we will mention some resources, and we will also, in particular, highlight Russian text compared to more well-known standard Western text. I believe the Russian text needs to be need to be widely known, more widely known here in the West. All right. So enough of that. This is like a nice break from the study. Let's go back to practicing actual Russian. All right. So, okay. The meaning of the words. Meaning of the word. So nada, we need. It is. Nada is we need. We need to practice. Nada тренируется. Right? Тренируется. We need to practice. Actually, I haven't ate breakfast because we had a power outage in the morning. I couldn't even fire up my toaster. So, nada есть. I need to eat. We need to eat. We all need to eat. Necessary. Right? It is necessary. Actually, it is nada is it is necessary. It is necessary. Okay. Nada. A part, stage, or step. Perhaps this is important in proofs. Step 1, step 2, that kind of stuff. Etap is stage. Etap is stage, and taught is masculine, ta is feminine, and to is neutral. That. Okay. Anyway, I'll put the textbook name by Derdishnikov in chat. Derdishnikov numerical analysis. Yes, this one. I'll put it in chat. Go check this book out. Very nice one. And it reads like a functional analysis text, I promise. Anyway, so continue with the Russian. The book, the next one is повод. Повод is cause and reason. Actually, I didn't know this one. Good to know. Повод. Повод is cause, or reason. Okay, have to see more example of that. And поэтому, therefore. Sorry, потому is therefore. Therefore. Nam, dative case, we. Nam is a dative case of we. Okay. Vam is the dative case of you. It's either respectful you or plural you. So in Russian, there are two versions of the word you as singular. It's either it's вы or ты. Вы is reserved for formal situation and to show respectfulness, and ты is more, well, ты you can, I guess you can use it between friends, and if you really wanted to disrespect someone, you can say ты, even if you don't know him or her. All right. So what? What is here? Actually, what is here? This is. All right. And sorry, photon is photon. Photon is photon in Russian. Very predictable, which is nice. You see, if you can read the letters, you can actually know a decent amount of words. Попутно, in passing. Oh, both because and therefore could be used as therefore. Wow. Okay. Um, this will take some time to get used to. Попутно. Попутно is in passing. In passing. All right. EVM. I was I was kindly I was kindly educated by Chad that this is an old name for computer. It's a abbreviation for computer. Perhaps rarely used nowadays. EVM, электронно вычислительная машина. All right. Ввод. Sorry, ввод. Just ввод. Ввод is input. What is input? Okay, so this is going to be useful. Input of an algorithm, right? What? Автомат. The world famous AK-47 Автомат Kalashnikova. Автомат means automatic machine. So it's a pretty generic word. It doesn't just mean assault rifle. Okay. Автомат, automatic machine. So after is like cell, auto. It's like you often see after in place of auto in Russian. So автомат is automatic machine. Monotone is monotone. It's a mathematical word. You don't. I guess you can use it in real life, right? It's like in real world in English. If something is monotone, if you use it in a everyday sense, it means it's boring. It's monotone. This job is monotone, something like that. Do you say that in Russian as well? Also, in discrete math, yeah, aftermath is automata, especially yeah, computer science stuff, right? Aftermath um, is the like the Turing machine, I believe, is an automata. I mean, I'm not a theoretical computer science. I'm not a computer science at all, computer scientist at all. So I'm pretty ignorant in that respect. Monotone. All right. So read the Russian word combinations. Excellent. You see, I like the progression. I like the progression. You start from syllables and then words, and now you can combine the words. Nam nada. Nam nada. This is not a full sentence, but I think you see this very often. We need to do something. It's like it's necessary for us to do something. Nam nada. Nam nada этот этап. Sorry, этот этап. So the word etap ends with a consonant pe. So you use the the version of this in masculine form, этот etap. Oh, sorry, этот etap. Этот etap. This step, this stage. All right. Nam dan. We are given. Nam nam dan. Nam dan. We are given. Это data. Это это data. This state. Это. You see here, because of data is feminine, it ends with an a, so it's a feminine. And this, this for this state, you need to use the feminine version. Это. Sorry. In spoken language, we use monotone not that frequently. For boring, we use nudna, skучно, rutina, and so on. Or some people use it. I've seen skучно is boring. Okay. All right. Let's continue. So, это data, это фото, this photo, neutral. Это photo. Sorry. Этот atom, this atom. Этот atom. Let's continue. Два атома. Два атома. Two atoms. Okay, so now we're seeing plurals. Два атома. Actually, I think is this plural or singular declined? Okay, hard to tell. Russian grammar is very complicated, and sometimes, even though there's rules and they don't make much sense, but you just get used to it. Два атома. The first I is stressed. Два атома. Это два атома. Это два атома. I think that's the full sentence. So this is two. These are two atoms, I believe. Это два атома. Oh, hi. Thank you for joining the stream. Okay. Let's continue. Два тома. Two volumes. Два тома. Два тома. Two volumes of books, probably. От дома. From home. От is from. От, I'm saying, от дома. From home. От дома. Одно фото. Одно фото. Два фото. Sorry, одно фото. For or is the first or is stressed. There's funny things with count. We have different one thing, two thing, and 5 to 20 on the 21 from on it goes. It's yes, I vaguely remember that rule because I learned it and I never practiced it, so I forgot. It made no sense to me, and I just knew there's this weird law. So okay. But for mathematics, apparently, I mean, of course, for mathematics, this is important, right? To get used to this. You work with numbers a lot, or unless you You work in more abstract mathematics, you barely see any number at all. Okay, everything is set, variables, and that sort of thing. You don't see actual numbers that often in advanced mathematics unless we're working with, say, actual applications. Anyway, ad nor forta. Ad nor forta. Um, this one bothers the heck out of me. This is dva forta. So two is also photo. No plural here. What's going on? Is it because forta is a foreign word, so it's hard to decline or something? Dva forta, ad nor forta, dva forta. Okay, okay. Um, adna data. So one date. Adna data, one date. On doma. Oh, actually, this is a complete sentence. On doma, he is at home. Adna doma, she is at home. Complete sentence. Yay, finally, complete sentence. Adna doma, she is at home. On doma davno. He, I guess he is at home for a long time. On doma davno. On doma davno. Okay, we don't have plural photo form, so there's photography and there's form one photo, two photos, many photos. Okay, great. Okay, perhaps it's because photo is a foreign word, so it's hard to decline, and it does not end with like consonants and stuff. So anyway, um, let's continue. What else? On doma davno. Ana doma adna. So this is like she is at home alone, I believe. Ana doma adna. She is home alone. Home alone. She's Ana doma adna. Eta phone. This background. Phone is background, right? I believe I was told phone is background when we learned phone. Phone is background. Yes, eta phone. Uh, this is the background, I guess. Yeah, eta phone. Eta phone. That's a complete sentence. Eta phone. Eta vata. This is water. Eta is like a pointing word. I like to call this eta the pointing word. Imagine you're pointing at a glass of water and say eta vata. Eta vata. All right. Поэтому он дома. Therefore he is home. Probably. Поэтому он дома. You're probably saying, oh, his car is outside. Therefore he is home. Something like that. Поэтому он дома. Okay, we'll do another 25 minutes because 2 hours of practice is perhaps a decent amount every day. So, поэтому он дома. Okay, so therefore he is home. Excellent. Um, so here we're ready to move on to the next. Actually, the form depends on the last digit. Okay. Wow. How many of you guys speak Russian in chat? Let me know. How many guys of you guys speak Russian in chat? That's awesome. Like, I mean, I understand if you try to learn Russian, you probably don't want to learn it from me. But once again, I never claim my streams to be lectures, do I? Right? Like, it's just a random guy showing his progress, basically. Um, okay, so here in this introductory phonetic course, the textbook also has this quote unquote tangential section. I'll start once, plus. Okay, plus. Okay, okay, so, wow, three people speak Russian. Greater or equal to three, at least three people speak Russian in chat. That's so awesome, man. Like, imagine trying to get a tutor online and you pay, right? I'm getting tutoring for free on the internet, dude. This is insane. Like, what a great deal. Thank you guys. I'm ruthlessly exploiting you guys. Sorry. Anyway, um, uh, so tangentially, this is a particular section in the textbook. It says, "Did you know that in the Russian language, cases are used rather unevenly? In business language and scientific style, the genitive case is the most frequent." So this is like you have six cases in Russian, but not all of them are equally frequent. Okay, this is some statistics. So from 36% to 46% of all nouns are in genitive case, and only 25% are in the nominative case. So genitive case is like of something. Okay, it's like, for example, um, the property of this function, you use genitive case. Um, so Okay, so anyway, in the genitive case, the genitive case is used extremely common. It's used extremely often. It's actually more common than nominative case. Good to know. The other four cases are distributed between the remaining 30 to 40% of vocabulary. There's six cases in Russia. Okay, um, and it says the nouns of masculine gender, tom, dom, etap in the genitive case have ending a. Okay, so we'll study endings in more systematic manner, obviously, because this is a huge deal in Russian. Okay, here we have our first grammar lesson in the text. Nouns in the Russian language. Nouns in the Russian language are of masculine, feminine, and neuter gender. Neuter gender, okay, not neutral gender, neuter gender, and are divided into three gender categories according to the types of ending which the nouns have. All right, so I think it's time to take some notes here. Nouns, gender, noun, genders. Okay, so I don't know, like, um, what do you guys feel about it? Because when I learned it, I was actually quite excited about these rules. Mathematicians like rules. Typically, from what I encountered, language teacher try to kind of tune down the grammar lessons because people are turned off by it because this feels bureaucratic and pedantic and whatnot. They want to talk about actual things. But for mathematician, of course, we're interested in actual text, but still, we're also interested in the rules. So this is super cool because now you have a theory, you can generalize, you can apply it, and it's just such a mathematician thing. Noun genders. I was saying there's three genders. Nouns of masculine gender in the nominative case. So that's the primary case. So that's not in terms of statistic, but the default case. You can think of the nominative case as the default case. The nouns of masculine gender in the nominative case end with a hard consonant sound. So, okay, masculine ending end with a hard consonant sound. Okay, sorry. For example, or a soft consonant, or it can be a soft consonant actually. Hard consonant sound example include povod, povod. Actually, what is povod? I seen that earlier, but I forgot. What is povod? Yeah, cause and reason. Okay, povod. Povod and atom. Atom. So these are examples of masculine nouns, and it can be a soft consonant or a soft consonant. Let's look at some example. For example, for instance, che and she. or a consonant the softness of which is designated by the soft sign, mягкий знак. Okay, for instance, ch and sh, so this thing. Or something that is designated with the mягкий знак, the soft sign. Okay, some nouns of the masculine gender designate persons or masculine gender have the ending a. For example, papa. Exceptions. Because papa is a male, you regard papa as a masculine noun, which makes sense, even though it ends with an a. Papa. Nouns of feminine gender end with a, and the soft sign, have ending and the soft sign. Okay, so right now we don't have enough examples, so this might be a little bit overwhelming, but it should be okay. So nouns of the feminine gender, so they're all nominative cases. The first case we learn. Second is probably genitive. Родительная падеж. Nominative case. Okay, masculine, feminine. Feminine feminine nouns of the nominative gender end with a, and with a, and soft sign, and the mягкий знак. So a, for example, mama, and вода, water, is feminine, which I think is appropriate, right? It's, if you think of water as some kind of as nurturing, right? So water is feminine, вода, вода, and the soft sign, the mягкий знак, looks like a little bee. Okay, so the ending or in the nominative case is a characteristic of nouns of neutral gender, a neuter gender, neuter, and with or, and sometimes ye as well, right? I believe, because right now we haven't seen ye so far, because this is not an exhaustive rule. Okay, just based on what we learned so far. And with or, forte. Forte is neuter. Okay. In accordance with the type of the endings, and nouns in the Russian language are declined according to cases and numbers. Declined according to cases, numbers. Okay, so it declines according to. It's like a function of three variables, and right, the form of the function, the form of the word, of course, depend on the word itself, and the number depend on the number, depend on the gender, depend on cases. Okay, so very difficult stuff. That this is gonna be. I mean, if I guess with enough practice of the rules and enough reading, nothing is too difficult. But certainly there's a steep learning curve at the beginning. Not gonna deny that. I guess that attribution of gender is so arbitrary from language to language, things it's useless to try to make sense of. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. It's mathematicians' habit, right? It's try to make sense out of everything. Try to deduce from axiom, that sort of stuff. Okay. Anyway, so here we're still discussing cases. There are 6 cases in Russian language: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, instrumental, and prepositional, and 2 forms of numbers, singular and plural. Okay, great. Thank goodness that in Russian you don't have, say, a masculine plural and feminine plural. Okay. In some languages, apparently they do. For example, I heard in Spanish you have plural masculine and plural feminine. Okay. Thank goodness Russian only have a unified plural for all genders. All right. Anyway, the gender of a noun determines the ending of modifying words connected with it. Yes. Um, for example, um, we've seen some of those examples. Eta fota, eta fota. So this this is so this get a little bit confusing. So this is it means this photo, not this is photo. Okay, this is a photo. Perhaps that's both okay. I mean, depend on the context actually. Depend probably right, chat. Is that right? You can mean this photo, this particular photo, right? This photo I took with my classmates in the graduation ceremony. This photo at the photo, or you can say this is a photo, like pointed to a child who never seen a photo before. This is a photo. This is a picture. Okay. All right. So, and the point is the gender of the noun also dictates the modifying word, like this object, that kind of thing, right? This state is eta and with an a data. Now, all right, and this atom, etat atom, right? So end with a t. So the ending of the modifying word also changes. All right, so in short participles, dan, dana, dano, right? So we were talking about given, nam dan, nam dan. So I don't know if this should be. I mean, it's not a complete sentence, so but just bear in mind that the word given declines according to the thing that is actually given. Um, so yeah, thank you, chat. That can be interpreted in both ways. Okay, great, awesome. So and numbers also, yeah. The gender of the noun determines the ending of the modifying words connected to it, of short participles, numbers, and also the ending of the words in the past tense. So that's a lot of information. That's a lot of information. So here we have an exercise which is going to be extremely important later on. Okay, so this is our first grammatic exercise. It's conjugation. Exercise 13. Упражнение 13. Exercise 13. Read the Russian nouns. According to the gender of the noun, put it in one of the columns and coordinate it with the demonstrative pronoun. The demonstrative pronoun, этот, это, and это. All right. So this is a list of verbs. Okay, I'm gonna do the list. Okay, the list is you got at top, at top. Okay, I'm still trying to get used to this. At top, the stress is on a. At top, group. Okay, do the grouping. At top, banan, banana, vana, bath, phone. Phone is background. Photo is of course photo, and atom is atom. Vada is water. Dom is house. Data is date. Okay. Tom is volume of a book. Tom. And forward is reason, cause. Okay. Anyway, let's do the grouping. So the first group is masculine, starting with the etat. That's the quote unquote demonstrative pronoun. Etat. And the second column is eta, and the third column is, well, neuter. Et, eta, eta, sorry, eta, yes, and finally eta. Okay, anyway, End with an or. End with an or. So let's do the grouping. The first one, etap, is masculine. End with a consonant. Etap, etap, etap. All right. Banan is also masculine. Etat, banan. This banana. The point of all of this, of course, is to forget about the rules later, because true fluency requires um, some kind of autopiloting. Right? So initially we need these rules, and you wanted to kind of develop the flow of the language. You just say things automatically without thinking about the rules. Banan, vana is feminine. Vana is feminine. Fawn is masculine. Edat fawn. Okay, and forta is neuter. Eta forta. Seen that earlier. Eta forta. Okay, Adam is masculine. Vata is feminine. Eta vata. Eta eta vata. Dom is masculine. Etat dom. Data is Data is feminine. Data. Data is eta data. This date. Dom etat dom. Etat dom. This volume. This volume. Okay. So far everything seems to be in the. We've seen most of the stuff we see most is in the masculine category. Etat dom. Povert also masculine. Povert also masculine. All right. And that's it. Right, that's it. That's the exercise. That's the exercise. All right. So, um, wow. Exercise 14. Already learning the genitive case. It's already learning the genitive case. We never learned genitive case in the text. Oh, actually, here the nouns of the masculine gender tom, dom, etap in the genitive case and have ending a. Yeah. Um, Sorry. Yeah, chat says, a small note. I noticed in your pronunciation, you seem to struggle pronouncing the double N. Actually, I do. Actually, I do. You're completely right. I don't know why. It's how do you say not double, like double? Okay, sorry about that. Um, I didn't know there should be a difference. Okay, sorry. This is, I guess, this is very valuable. So banana in Russian is pronounced like what? It's actually is oh sorry vana sorry bat. It's not banana. Okay,
Ванна.
vanna. Oh right. Vanna. So it's like you separate the syllables. Vanna. Is that better? Tap. Vanna.
Ванна.
Еще раз.
Ванна.
Vanna. So there seems to be a deliberate effort to pronounce the syllables separately. Not vanna, right? So vanna. Is that better? Vanna. Vanna. Thank you so much. Excellent. Excellent. This is why YouTube is awesome. Almost perfect. Спасибо большое. All right. So, okay. Let's continue with the exercises. So, we're going to put the nouns in the genitive case. Exercise 14. Упражнение 14. Insert the nouns, putting them in the genitive case. So I have 4 minutes. Let's finish this exercise. And next time, we're going to do some pronunciation of mathematical expressions. That'll be fun. Okay, but today, unfortunately, we only have 4 minutes left, so we're gonna just have to do this exercise. And so, um, two atoms. So the exercise looked like this. So, atom, nominative singular. You want to convert that to two atoms. So dva dva atoma. Dva atoma is an a ending at the end. Dom, masculine nominative once again. Dom. So if you say two houses, dva doma. Sorry, dva. Is it dva doma or dva? How do you say? Is it? I know plural for doma for plural for dom is dama, right? So, but this is nominative singular. This should be two should be connected with nominative singular. So this is probably still doma, dva doma, if I'm correct. Chat, let me know. Dva doma, probably this is how you say it. Banan is banana, and dva banana. Actually, it sounds like an English banana. So, two houses, two houses is doma. Okay, two houses is doma. Yeah, I put the stress down here. Yeah, yeah. See this automatic. Oh, it actually has this translation symbol. Yeah, there's this little translation symbol in chat. Tells me that this is translated. Okay, so YouTube, stop translating, man. I want to learn the language. Don't confuse me. Banan, banan, dva, banana, banana, like this. All right. Dom, dva, doma. Tom is volume. Dva, toma. Two volumes. Two volumes. And etap, two steps. How do you say two steps? Dva etapa. Etapa. Forward is reason. Two reasons. Dva povata. Povata. Is that? So I assume when you decline it, the stress location stays the same. I know it's not always. Right? It's not always, but at least here in early stage, we're still dealing with regular stuff, I suppose. Povata. Dva povata. All right, so it's 10. I think it's time for me to close the stream. And next time we're gonna do some reading of how to read calculus. I guess there's an option for disabling live chat translation somewhere in YouTube setting for creators. Okay, great. I'll look it up. Thank you very much. So yeah, next time we will, guys, just take a look at this. So next time we're gonna read some mathematical expression, guys. Just a quick snippet of what we're gonna do next time. Okay. Yeah. So I think I will probably need some help with reading this. Okay. Okay. Anyway, this should be fun. Right. Okay. And that'll be it. Okay. So today in the afternoon we have an introduction to proof. So right now it's 10 a.m. Starting at 2 p.m. we'll do introduction to proof. First introduction to proof. So how do you prove stuff in mathematics in general? Okay. And it's gonna be awesome. It's always such a nice experience to revisit the fundamentals. And because always, I mean, I'm always amazed of how much things I can pick up just by revisiting the fundamentals. Anyway, thank you very much for joining the stream, and I'll see you next time. Baka baka.